All right, guys, so my wife called me and she was like, the inspector is out at your garage. He came and knocked on the door and said he left his report. So I just got home because she's like super pregnant and I wasn't gonna make her walk out here in the heat. And I go to look at the counter, or this table right here. Hold on. And I am pumped. Hold on. I don't wanna expose myself already more than I normally do. So let me fold this right here. Oh, well, there we go. I think that's all the... Anyway, approved. So this was the final inspection on the building. And right here is the electrical final inspection. And it was also approved. So I was really pumped about that. That means my building is fully inspected. Everything's good to go. I can put the panel cover back on. A friend of mine actually hooked me up with another panel, and it's like a smart panel, and it's got all kinds of stuff and like surge protectors built into it. So I'm gonna give him a call, and I guess I probably shouldn't say this on video, but it still passes an inspection. It just didn't get here in time. So I think I'm gonna swap that panel out with this panel, especially before they hook up those hot lines. But yeah, I'm super stoked, super happy. And yeah, so I already ordered an AC unit, so I have a mini split coming. We're gonna be installing that. I'm gonna show you guys that. I'm sorry for all this, like, you know, build progress update videos. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, but I told you guys I was gonna take you along on every single step of the way, and I am. So since this was a garage and not a insulated like living space, I didn't have to call for a rough-in electrical inspection and a final. I was able to just call in one final electrical inspection. So normally, I guess you have to call in for a rough-in after you get all the wires in before you actually close up the boxes. And then after that, they can get your final inspection and you can put all the covers on and stuff. I don't know, but I just did one because that's what they said. So yeah, I'm pumped, dude. Holy smokes. It's still hot out here. They still, I don't believe they put a meter on yet. So I'm gonna call Duke, because that's who I have energy with, and see, I believe from, hold on, my wife's calling me. All right, so sorry about that. But I'm gonna call Duke and see if they have got the A-OK. Obviously, it might take some time for my local inspection office to approve it, but apparently once you get your final inspection there, they'll send a approval over to the power company, because they already had like looked up my my premise number, or yeah, premise, I think that's what it is. And basically that told them like I already have an account with Duke and everything. And yeah, so I'm super pumped. And for people that didn't know, I actually ran a separate service from the box down at the road, and I set up a separate account. So this account is not on a residential electric rate. This is on a small general service, or SGS. So that means my first 700 kilowatts is at, I think it was 12 cents or 13 cents. But after my first 700 kilowatts, it drops down to 8.9 cents per kilowatt. So it ends up being cheaper the more that I use. And once I hit, there's some big threshold, I think it's around 7,000 kilowatts, it actually drops down again. But I probably won't hit that for a little while. So it ends up being cheaper because at my house, residential electric is right at 11 cents flat. But if I use enough, it'll offset that first 700 kilowatts being a little bit more expensive than the back end. So I was pumped about that. So yeah, now it's time to plan out the build. And you know what? Let's get right into it while we're here. So everybody's like, oh my God, you're never gonna keep these rigs cool. You're gonna need to like cool them. What are you gonna do? So I'm gonna come off of this stud and I'm gonna come out 24 inches this way. So let's see here. 1 foot, 2 foot, roughly right about there. I might come off 28 inches. Yeah, might come off 28 inches just to give me a little wiggle room. Or maybe 30. We'll say 30 inches. So I got a lot of wiggle room. So I'm going to come off with a wall off of that stud, 30 inches. and it's going to go down all the way past this stud to this stud. I'm actually going to tie it in right on the other side of this box probably, and that is going to be a server closet. I'm going to put, I'd like to do double doors on the front of it just so I have a big, nice, wide opening. And inside of here is where I'm going to put shelving and then my racks for my rigs. People are like, oh, it'll never stay cool. I'm going to cut a hole in the bottom, cut a hole in the bottom, hole in the top, hole in the top. And then I'm going to do exhaust fans, and then probably on the inside, maybe some fans blowing up. But I don't think I'm going to actually put fans on the intake side. I'm going to let it draw through instead of actually pull through, just because of water issues with rain and stuff. And on the outside, I will do turn downs, so hopefully that'll reduce any rain coming in. The fans I'm going to be using are these iPower fans. I've used these in the past. These things are absolutely straight up like industrial big boy. Like they move a lot of air, and they do it at a high airflow. So I'm figuring 2 of those on the exhaust side. I'll mount them to the top of my server closet, because it's only going to come up probably about maybe 8 feet, and then I'll run it over so I can mount those to the top and then have a little bit of ducting going to the wall. But I have 1 and 2, and it's just going to be pulling that hot air off the top of that closet. A lot of people were telling me that's not going to work, but that's literally how I cooled my rigs at my old house, except instead of doing it with a walled-in office or a walled-in closet. Gosh, it's so hot out here I can't even think. I did it with grow tents. So grow tents are a good temporary solution to be able to throw up a space to basically isolate it and have a different environment inside of a cooled environment, because this garage is going to be cooled, but I don't want to be cooling my rigs because then I'm wasting a significant amount of electricity. I am in North Carolina. It only gets up to the high 90-degree Fahrenheit range. Every now and then we'll see 100 degrees Fahrenheit. And at those temperatures, I still should be able to cool my rigs off just with active airflow. I should not need any active cooling or air conditioning to help offset that. And in the wintertime, I should just be able to close off those vents to the outside and open those double doors up and maybe put a box fan or something and let that heat come into the garage. So yeah, in the wintertime, we'll be cooking with fire, ladies and gentlemen. But that is the plan. So I apologize for another update video that really didn't have anything cool or whatever to show you, but that's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And for anybody that didn't catch the last electric update video, here I'll do a full walkthrough of what we have in here. So, all right, so starting from this side, this is a dedicated 20 amp circuit. And people also did let me know that my electrician did kind of short me and he didn't do it correctly, but a 20 amp socket is actually supposed to have the 2 openings, and then one of the openings is supposed to have a horizontal break in it. So these are actually 15 amp sockets. I called him, he said he was gonna come out and fix it. Well, I can't complain yet because he hasn't not let me down, but he didn't install the correct one. Now I'll go over there and I'll show you where he did actually do correct by using these sockets on a 20 amp line. And I'll explain why. But yeah, this is a dedicated single socket that's 20 amps, and it needs to be changed out because that's a 15 amp socket and that's not tied in with anything else. So on to the next one. This right here is just a block out panel, but I need to open that up and put in a 30 amp L6 connector, and I have it right here, and he's actually going to wire it up and hook it up for me. Okay, that was actually the electrician that just called me, and he said he was able to find a cover. The reason why we did not install this one, he had it installed, but he couldn't find one of these, the correct covers to go over it. They were all sold out at Lowe's, Home Depot, and the little like local electric supply house. So he says he's got one. He's gonna come back, he's gonna fix that, and then he's gonna drop this bad boy in there, wire that up. The wires are just looped around in there, so they're ready to go. That's a 30 amp at 240 volts, so good for a little over 5,000 watts, like a 5,500. That's 80% load, and they should be absolutely safe to just get it. Another 30 amp at 240 volt, so good for another 5,000, 5,000 and some change. Those peak out at 7,000, but obviously you want to keep it at the 80% rule. Those are both dedicated lines running over here and running up to these 30 amp breakers. Has a 30 amp, and that's a 30 amp. One of these 20s is that one over there. This next 20 amp breaker is split between 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 receptacles. The more I was looking at your guys' comments, and the more I look at it, this is probably not going to work out very well, because I'm probably going to pull too much power and constantly be tripping that breaker. So I asked him how much of a pain it'd be to actually, put some dedicated sockets in, and I was talking to some guys in the comments. I think I'm just going to end up doing that myself. So I'll probably leave all those, and I'll just add me maybe, one over here and one over there, and I'll just run some more lines. And now that I'm inspected, I'm good to go. I can just do it myself. Wink, wink, shh, don't tell nobody. But I'll use the same stuff. It's not like I'm gonna go back and use some unshielded or anything like that. All good and good to go. But he did on this one use a GFCI 20 amp, and that's what people were telling me about. It has to have that little like cutover 20 amp socket, and then he did 15 amp sockets deadheading or connecting to it, and you're allowed to do that as long as one of them, or the main one, is a GFCI. He did not do that over there, but I still passed inspection. So and the last 20 amp breaker right here actually is running up into the ceiling, and it's split between that socket and then my outside light. So I have an outside light over there and an outside light over there. Those are both motion floodlights, so hopefully they're gonna work good, because I got them off Amazon and they had good reviews. Up in the ceiling, I did plugs up there, so that way I can change lights out and I'm not tied down to any specific light. I'm gonna try using these. These are some 4-foot like plug-in lights I showed you on another video. They feel really, really cheap and chintzy, but I don't know. They're bright, that's for sure. So we'll try those out. I'm gonna hang maybe two, and then 2 on the other side, and we'll see how that goes. But if I don't like them, I can just unplug them and plug something else in. So, whew. Did I get it all? Did I? Yeah. So sorry for the long video today, guys, and I feel like I'm kind of like just reiterating some stuff that's already happened, but yeah, the permit portion and that is done. It's done. We're finally done. It's no more calling for permits or anything like that. That's one of the motion lights that I got. It says like 5,500 lumens, and then the other motion light is the same one. I just got 2 of the same thing. Got one on the front, one on the side. I did hang over on that tree on the other side of my truck. You probably can't see it, but I hung a solar light over there, and then I put a solar light on my fence, because back here was super dark and kind of scary at night. Like, it was super dark. But now I imagine when I come out of the building, this motion light will turn on, and then I got a little solar lights over there, those will turn on, and it shouldn't be any problem. Yeah, because I'm gonna be spending some time out here, so we're gonna be having some light. Let there be light, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm gonna go inside. I'm gonna take a break. I'll catch you all on the next one. Later, guys. Yeah. It's like 90 degrees out and I'm starting a fire, but I need to burn this brush off. I think once I get all this hole filled in, probably end up moving my brush. I don't know. I don't want to burn too close to the door. Might just have it like over there. Might end up making me a spot with like some rocks. I don't know. I want to gravel all this and put my brush over there. By the way, the video's over. This is just chilling. So if you want to chill with me, heck yeah, keep on chilling. Oh, and by the way, if you guys have any recommendations for stuff I should put in the garage that would make mining or general computing better or easier in any specific way, please let me know. I am going to be putting a router out there, a Wi-Fi router. People were asking about that, like, oh, are you just going to be hardwired? Now, I will do a router, that way I can have Wi-Fi on my phone, but everything else should be hardwired. So yeah, I think I'm covering all the bases. Yeah. Whew. Gosh, that's hot.